Hello, and welcome to another episode of Coach and Coffee. Make sure you get your coffee, come back, sit down. I'm looking over a beautiful view right now. The camera had the shot last time I filmed here, and so I'm taking the view this time. Sorry. We are going to be talking about music and training today. So, if you don't have your coffee in your hand right now, go get it. So, music is a powerful motivator. There's no question about that. Every study that's been done suggests that. It lights up your brain, essentially. People have done scans of the brain while people are listening to music and while not listening to music, and the difference is rather astounding. My wife is a music teacher, so she is all about this type of stuff as far as right now she teaches elementary music. And so she's all about the developmental processes that music helps with in children as far as helping their brain to develop and getting their brain to work in different ways and grow in different ways. Ooh, look, a raven. And so I've heard a lot about that stuff, and I had previously prior to her talking about it, but still, nonetheless. We're talking about specifically in the realm of working out. So a lot of people, and I would argue most people, listen to music while they're working out because it helps distract them a little bit from what they're doing, and it's a powerful motivator. The questions that arise with music are, one, if you are by yourself running on a trail or something, should you have headphones in playing music? From a safety standpoint, I would say don't do it. It's probably just wiser not to. And that may also be true at like a park or something. Unfortunately, extremely unfortunately, there are bad people in the world who do bad things. And so it may not be safe to do that, where you can't hear what's going on around you. And you'd be amazed how much your hearing plays into your overall awareness of what's going on around you. So in that environment, I would suggest not to. Now, there were some times when I did trail runs in this area, I almost never see anyone on the trails, but sometimes I listen to music just to get me through longer runs when I first started building up my mileage much further than I previously ever had, and it was helpful for that. But what kind of took me off of it, I don't really care about the bears or snakes or anything. I keep my eyes on the ground for snakes. But bears around here, they're just black bears and they don't really care, and they just run away every time. So, and they're not very big. There's a lot of small black bears around here. But one time I was coming to a fork in the trail, and I had to use the bathroom. I had to pee. So I was going to stop there and pee. So I paused my music, and all of a sudden I heard barking behind me, and I was like, because I hadn't seen anyone, and I was still about a little over 2 miles off of like any roads or anything. And so I turn around, and there's a full-grown, very large German Shepherd standing there barking at me. And for a second I'm like, okay, great. This happens to me all the time, by the way, with dogs. Dogs just find me, and a lot of times their owners aren't around. Thankfully, in this case, the dog's owner was like 100 yards away coming up the trail, and so I just stood there doing nothing while this dog just was not happy that I was there. And then as the lady left with the dog, she's like, yeah, it was the first time he's seen anyone on the trail. And I was like, thanks, lady, I appreciate that. Your dog's not used to seeing people on the trail, and you have him off leash after me. So, I mean, it was fine and everything, but that took me off of music on the trails. I will say it's probably worth it to have music playing from like a phone or something where it's not plugged into your ears and you can still hear things around you, if that's an option for you, and you're not going to be like bothering other runners. On the trails I run, like I said, there's almost never anyone on them, and so I could get away with that all day and no one would ever care because no one would ever be there to hear it. But in your workouts, it just depends on, like, I like to train as specifically for something as I can so that I'm as prepared for that thing as I can be. So for me, that means if I'm doing like a race simulation, or if I'm training at a higher intensity and I'm not just doing we'll call it a regular workout for the day, I prefer not to have any music playing at all, whether that's in earphones, out, on a speaker, phone, whatever, because at a race, except for the start and finish line, you're really not going to have the option for music. Almost all races that I know of ban music in the competitive waves, and they actually ban it in the open, though people get away with it all the time. A lot of people play it through speakers that they're carrying on their backpack or hydration pack or whatever. Some people still get away with wearing headphones in the open waves, but if you're racing in age group or competitive, I don't know of a single event right now that allows you to wear headphones, because honestly it's just not safe. If you're on a trail and someone's trying to get by you because they're faster than you, they deserve to get by you if they're faster than you, and you can't hear them, and you don't know what's going on around you. If someone, like, if you're headed up a hill and someone actually accidentally dislodges a rock or something and yells down, but you have headphones in and you can't hear it and the rock hits you, whose fault is that? Well, it's your fault. So anyway, but you might blame the company or whatever, so then it's their fault. Point being, I like to train as I race, and so I don't listen to music when I'm doing more race level training. If I'm just doing my everyday type of thing, or if I'm doing a hard strength training workout, I will listen to music, because it makes me unfortunately, I wish I could do this with my own mind, but I just can't do it so far. I feel stronger. Like my workouts go much better with music when I'm doing like if I'm doing a ton of tire flips. I've been building up the number on those, so when I first started them a few months ago, I was doing like 40 in a session, and then they closed the track down where the tire is, so I didn't get to do it for a long time. And then anyway, when it opened again, I was at 60, and then I was up at 85, and I'm up at 110 in a session now. But I do far better in those sessions with the music that I like going. And so I do use them for strength workouts, because I don't do, like, obstacle course racing isn't strength workouts. And while I'm on the stationary bike that I have at my apartment, I will watch things on TV, partly because my wife likes watching things with me there, and I do as well. But that's a great time to get in cross training, which we talked about in a previous video. And so I'll do the bike and watch something. And interestingly enough, if the thing that we're watching is like an action thing, or like a documentary that I'm really interested in, I will do far better on the bike than I would if I was just listening to music, or if I was not watching or listening to anything, which is very painful on a stationary bike. That takes mental fortitude that I can't handle it. It's so boring. Music is a very, very, very powerful motivator, especially if it's music that you like. That's why gyms have it blasting all the time. That's why people complain about music in gyms when it's music that they don't like, because it's like the complete opposite of what good music to you, it's personal preference, would have been. Like the gyms that I've worked in, I've always hated the music, always hate it. It's always the same, like, poppy music over and over again, and that does not motivate me at all. I cannot stand it. And so I put in my own headphones, which is what most people do anyway, they turn on their own music. But some of the smaller gyms will have better music that's like got heavy beats to it, or whatever, to get you more motivated. And motivation matters. It does. While it's not everything, it is very important. So find music that you like, and here's where I'll go out on a limb and I'll tell you what I listen to. There are a bunch of like I don't even know what to call them. They're not like massively produced songs that I found that I like, that have like certain tonalities and beats to them. I don't even know what to call the genre. It's not even it's like a mix of songs. But more than that music, what I prefer to listen to is soundtracks. Like if you've never done a workout while listening to like some of the Game of Thrones soundtrack, it's awesome. Or some of the soundtracks from some of the new superhero movies, like the new Man of Steel soundtrack. Well, it's not new anymore, but the Man of Steel soundtrack is awesome. I just love that type of music. I always have. And so if I get music with like awesome beats and epic build-ups and everything in it, I just have awesome workouts. Give it a try if you never have. But yeah, if you're going to be running on trails, I would recommend not listening to music, at least not in headphones. If you're going to be doing a strength training workout, I find it extremely valuable. If you're going to be doing a workout that is a race simulation or something where you're really trying to replicate a piece of a race or something like that, particularly, I would recommend not listening to it so that you get used to doing race type activities without music, which is how it will be during your race on race day. And we want everything to be as close as we possibly can so that we perform as best we possibly can. It's a different mental state listening to music and performing. So get in that state, learn to do well with it, but otherwise enjoy your music. The view's getting really good as the sun keeps coming up higher. All right, that's it. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you next time on Coach and Coffee.